I trustworthy? Well, of course. If I tell you I'm going to punch you in your face, you better get ready for a punch in the face. The University of the State of New York had nothing better to do than make this video. Hey Cindy, did you hear the news about Eddie? No, what? The milkman is his real father. Oh, hi Eddie. Hi Eddie. Oh, that was awkward.
Did you ever feel as if you've been left out?
Only when I've been left
out.
out.
When it really hurts. When no one understands that you'd do a good job if you had a chance, that you'd make good. You feel pretty low when you've been left out. That's the way it was with Eddie Johnson. And this is his story.
And his story is a roller coaster ride all the way to the end. What a lousy day I had. First I don't get elected treasurer, then I find out my dad is not my dad.
Well, hi, Eddie.
Hello, Dad. What are you doing?
It's none of your business what I'm doing, son.
Fixing this lamp, so I thought I'd better do it and have it ready.
Your mother wants the house to look nice for when the milkman comes over tomorrow.
Come on, you can trust me with your troubles, can't you, Eddie?
Well, sure, Dad, but can my troubles trust to you?
Why does everybody keep talking about trusting people? They elected Bob the treasurer of our club because he was trustworthy. And me? They put me on the cleanup committee. I wouldn't have stolen their money.
Well, not much of it anyway.
What's all this about being trustworthy?
Wait a minute. It can't be that bad. Let's start from the beginning. Tell me what happened.
Well...
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
I've been in our
Oh, you didn't mean that far back.
3 years
okay.
now. And I wanted to be treasurer. I should have been, too.
I would have been a great treasurer, the best they've ever seen.
And this is Eddie Johnson's story. The story of a boy who had his heart set on being treasurer of his club.
And then had it brutally shattered into 1,000 pieces by not being elected treasurer of his club.
But, like most of us, he just hoped.
Eddie had delusions of grandeur.
He hoped someone would nominate him. But whose name do you think they thought of first?
Abraham Lincoln.
Bob West, one of Eddie's best friends.
Well, Bob West is no
Jim
friend
Small
of
was
mine.
Nominated too. And Mary Burns.
What? A woman can't be treasurer of a hobby club.
But Eddie? Well, no one even thought to mention Eddie.
In fact, some even wanted to kick him out of the club.
Even when you want the job. So before Eddie knew it, the nominations were closed. And when the voting was over, Bob had won.
I'm so trustworthy.
They said he was elected because he was so trustworthy. Why should they think of Bob as trustworthy and not Eddie?
Because no one trusts the son of a milkman.
Well, I'm not going to do any work in the cleanup committee.
That's the spirit.
Why should they say he's trustworthy, Dad? What's being trustworthy got to do with being a treasurer?
Well,
and what does being tall have to do about being a basketball player? I mean, come on.
But being trustworthy is pretty important to all of us in almost everything we do. If you think of the things you do every day, I'm sure you'll see the important part that trustworthiness plays in helping us to get along with others.
But Stone Cold Steve Austin says don't
example.
trust anybody.
We all depend on teachers to fulfill their trust to the parents and all the boys and girls.
Stone Cold don't trust teachers.
Teaching, just as all the boys and girls must keep trust with their teachers to prepare their lessons every day.
Stone Cold don't
That's
trust
how
boys and girls.
Trustworthiness is important at school. And what about trustworthiness with your friends?
Stone Cold
You're
don't
willing
trust
to
his
lend
friends
something
either.
When you can trust a friend to return it. And your friends trust you to take good care of the things you borrow.
You can always trust Bob West, because he is not the milkman's son.
And how about trustworthiness with the different groups of people you meet all around you?
Stone Cold doesn't trust the different groups of people most of all.
Things of good quality and to deal
That's
with
a mighty handsome woman there.
Fairly. That helps
She
us
had a
all
face
to live
only a
together
mother
well,
could love,
doesn't it?
and even her mother
So,
didn't love it.
Trustworthiness with groups is important too. Even in the home, trustworthiness makes it easier to get along.
But I've never taken anything that I shouldn't have, or robbed anyone.
I've only ever stole things that rightly belonged to me in the first place.
I've always noticed that people have to show they can be trusted with little things before they can be trusted with big things. Just like Well, doing what you say you will.
Like when I say I'm gonna
Like
beat up my
fixing your
sister, I
lamp,
better
for
beat her up?
Yes, fixing a lamp, for instance.
You know, Dad, come to think of it, Bob is a good choice for treasurer. I can see where he has proved his trustworthiness. I was just remembering.
Flashback time!
Just remembering. Remembering that Bob shows he can be trusted to do little things. You can always be sure, for example, that when he says he'll
Come on,
prepare a
Bob,
class
quit being so
report,
trustworthy
he'll
and
stick
come
to
play
it and
ping
do a
pong
good
with
job,
us.
even when it might be more fun to do something else. That's not a very big thing, but it has helped make Bob known for being trustworthy. At the charge-out
Hey,
desk,
Toots, what are you
Bob
doing in
helps
my
out at
chair?
regular
No girl's
times.
gonna hog my
And
glory.
he always remembers to be on the job when he's supposed to.
I had better
Being on
recount
time
all
may
this
seem
money,
a little
because
thing,
you know women can't
But
count
it's another
right.
important way to show that you're trustworthy. And everybody knows that Bob has had experience handling money and keeping
Woman, you're
accounts.
2 weeks overdue on this
People are
book. What
willing
was
to
you
trust
thinking?
someone who has
I'm
proved
sorry,
he can
Bob.
do
You
the
know
job.
us women can't tell time.
Yes, all these little things have given Bob a reputation for always keeping whatever trust he accepts.
People do trust Bob. He deserved to be treasurer, all right. But how can I learn to be trustworthy, too?
Well, by showing that he could be trusted in little things, Bob was trusted in big things, too. Perhaps that's the way.
That's what I'm going to do. I guess being trustworthy is pretty important. And I'm taking that job on the cleanup committee.
Whether they like it or not.
Good, it works.
Yeah.
I guess the plan of being trustworthy is better than my original plan of just killing Bob and
You know,
taking his position by
I have a lot of
force.
trusts already. Most of them little, but I never thought of them as trust before. Trust at school, at home, and I'm gonna make sure I keep them.
I'll believe it when I see it, son.
Being trustworthy includes a lot. From now on, Eddie is going to keep trust by getting to school on time. And he's going to prepare his lessons every day. Those are good ways to be trustworthy at school, aren't they?
No.
And think of the trust you have at home.
Why don't
Eddie
you
is
try
going
to
do a
make
good
me
job
think of
when
the
he says
trust
he'll
I
help
have at
with the
home?
work around the house. And he'll make sure to take good care of all the things he's responsible for. That's the way to be trustworthy at home, isn't it? How about being trustworthy with friends? Well, after
Hey,
this, when
quit
Eddie
hogging
wants
that
to borrow
knife or I'll
something from
tweet about
friends,
how
he's
big
going
a
to be
loser
certain
you
they know
are.
he'll return it, and he'll take good care of it. That's one way to be trustworthy with your friends. And what about groups? Well, Eddie has a trust with the hobby club to do his job. But sometimes cleaning up is much fun. Why not play darts instead?
Hey, Eddie, let's put up a picture of Bob
No
and throw
one
darts
around,
at
no
him.
one would know the difference. The cleaning could be done later. But what was that Dad said?
Which dad, my real one or my fake
People
one?
have to show they can be trusted with little things if they want to be trusted with big ones. That's right. From now on,
Hey, you
Eddie
lazy
can be
bum,
counted
quit
on
fooling
to
around
keep
and get
his
back to
trust
work. Pick
with
up those
groups.
chairs.
That's the way a good group keeps going. Each member must keep trust.
Boy, that's a lot to remember. I'm glad he wrote all that down.
Hi, Dad.
Oh, sorry,
Hi,
I thought it
Eddie.
was the
What do
milkman.
you got there?
A chart on trustworthiness with all the things we talked about on it.
I
I've been
wrote it up
finding
all
out
by
how important
myself.
Trustworthiness really is. And you know, Dad, you can find it everywhere.
The things you do and...
And look, Dad.
Boy,
here's
don't
what
interrupt your
trustworthiness
fake dad
is.
when he's
Here's
talking.
what you have to do. To be trustworthy, keep your word, play fair, do a good job, and be on time.
That sounds very good, Eddie.
The
And you know,
milkman would be
Dad,
proud
it
of
really
you.
works. I've been offered the job at the library desk in our clubroom. That's the job Bob had before he became treasurer.
I'm so proud of you now, son. I wish you was my own
Well,
boy.
that's how Eddie Johnson learned something about trustworthiness. And what about you?
Me?
Do you always keep your trusts?
I don't want to be
Remember,
treasurer
when
of the
you show
hobby
you're
club. Why should I
trustworthy of
have
little
to keep
things,
my
You'll be
trust?
trusted with big things. And that's the way gain a reputation for being trustworthy.
So, for people to consider me trustworthy, I have to be trustworthy. Thanks, University of the State of New York, for telling me something I already knew.